Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And today I'm talking about deportation and Black Americans. This keeps coming up. Black Americans are still furious because people are furious because we can't be deported. Well, let's put it like this. We can't be legally deported from the United States of America. And I think people need a history lesson. So let's get into it. Since people want to know why we can't be deported, let's start from the beginning. This is a slave ship with some of our ancestors on board. These are our ancestors, the original cotton pickers, which we are not ashamed of. These are also our ancestors, and you can see there's a picture of the White House in the background with them saying, "We built it." And they did. They also built the U.S. Capitol. They built the first Smithsonian building called the Castle. Our ancestors also built the private residences of several American presidents. They were not just laborers, they were also skilled construction workers. Our enslaved ancestors built the oldest and most elite universities in the United States of America, including Harvard, Yale, Georgetown, Princeton, Columbia, you name it, our ancestors built it. They were not just laborers, they were skilled construction workers. For your information, both enslaved Black people and free Black laborers played major, indispensable roles in building the early United States railroad system. This is not speculation, it's well documented history. And to be fair to the Chinese built major portions of the railroads in the far west: Utah, California, Idaho, Wyoming, and Nevada. But the majority of the rest of the country's rail system was built by enslaved and free Blacks. Apparently, the Irish were the overseers. You've always got to have a white person overseeing Black people, right? And so let's talk about Black American inventions. From the late 1800s to 1940, Black Americans were awarded around 50,000 patents, more than immigrants from every country except England and Germany. And that doesn't even include the inventions stolen from enslaved people who legally couldn't patent anything. From the national defense standpoint, Black Americans have been central to the United States military story from the very beginning, not as side characters, but as foundational defenders of the nation long before we were granted full rights. So our journey in the United States of America has taken us from here to here. And someone wants to know why we can't be deported. So let's clear this up. Some people just found out, and they found out the hard way, that Black Americans can't be deported, and they're upset about it. Well, let's get some basic things out the way. Black Americans are not immigrants. That's why we can't be deported. We are a native born ethnic group whose citizenship is rooted in the Constitution itself. That's why we can't be deported. The 14th Amendment, which was ratified in 1868, guarantees birthright citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil. This amendment was written specifically to secure the citizenship of formerly enslaved Black people because they had been productive in this country. That means our citizenship is not conditional, revocable, or dependent on visas, green cards, or immigration status. So when people talk about deportation, they're talking about immigration law. Black Americans are not part of that system. We are citizens by constitutional design. That's why we can't be deported legally. Black Americans didn't migrate here. We were forced here. And after centuries of unpaid labor, state violence, and legal exclusion, the country amended its constitution to make sure our citizenship could never be questioned again after the Dred Scott decision, which I'm not going to talk about here. But that is why we are embedded in the Constitution. Now, I have shown you how productive Black Americans have been and continue to be in this country. So, these are some things to consider. Enslaved Africans and their descendants built the economic foundation of the United States. That's why we can't be deported. After the Civil War, there were active attempts to deny Black people citizenship. The 14th Amendment was the federal guarantee that no state, no politician, no agency could strip Black Americans of their citizenship. That's why we can't be deported. So when somebody says they ought to be deported or deport them, they're revealing that they don't know American history or the reason the 14th Amendment exists in the first place. The amendment that they're trying to ride their little bit of citizenship on. So if you're upset that Black Americans can't be deported, that means you don't understand the country you moved to. Black Americans are not guests. We are not visitors. We are not temporary. We are citizens whose ancestors paid the highest price for this nation's existence. You don't have to like it, but you have to respect the history. Instead of being angry that Black Americans can't be deported, maybe learn why the Constitution protects us. Maybe learn what our ancestors survived. Maybe learn how much of this country exists because of them. Black Americans aren't going anywhere. We've been here, we built here, and we belong here. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Give me a thumbs up and have a great day.